Hello, wine lovers. If you're thinking of finally traveling, maybe to Europe, today's podcast could be helpful as my guest shares his experience in Bourguignon, Burgundy, France. This is On the Wine Road.
But that represents, again, very nice places with really nice wines and very affordable as well. So that's also one of our goals at Albert Bichot is, of course, to produce the best appellation from the upper section, old Premier Cru, Grand Cru.
He's Matthieu Mangenot of Albert Bichot. His title is Assistant Technical Director, but as you'll hear, he's quite experienced in viticulture and enology, the science of winemaking. We'll learn about his background, the wines they sent to me to taste and discuss, and we'll both touch upon some experiences you can enjoy in the Burgundy region. I'm Jeff Davis. If you've listened to my show over the years, you can certainly tell I enjoy talking with winemakers and growers, even brewers and distillers throughout California. But when a public relation firm reaches out from New York and asks, "Would you like to talk with a Burgundian winemaker from Albert Bichot? And we'll send you some wines." How can I say no? So Matthieu Mangenot will be my guest today. And what makes Albert Bichot a good guest is that they make an incredible amount of wine in different price points, many which are affordable, from quite a number of vineyards in the Burgundy region. We'll touch upon the wines they sent to me to enjoy in just a little bit. And since we had our share of setbacks in the wine industry here the last few years, I thought I'd start by telling Matthieu that many of us were saddened by the news of yet another damaging frost that zapped many vineyards throughout France in early April.
Yeah, thank you very much. It was it's a very strong one. We had several nights at the beginning of April with the biggest troubles were the nights 6, 7, and 8 of April. So yes, we work with the Mother Nature and we have to cope with this. But this was extremely strong, especially on the white wines. You know that the white and especially Chardonnay we have here, bud break will occur a bit earlier compared to the Pinot for the red varieties. Mm-hmm. So we had more damages on the white wines. Thinking of, for example, Chablis, which is a bit up north.
Yeah.
And generally speaking, more the white wines from Côte de Beaune. It's a bit early to say what's going to be the trouble and the level of loss. We know it could be more than 50%, but it's still on its way. We still see some grapes everywhere, so we are now expecting the flowering period and see what's going on. So it's a bit early, but it's always difficult the first day after to see how the leaves are behaving, how the buds look bad, and so you have to go back to work and begin to fight for your vintage. So we are still in this position.
Well, you have centuries of experience over there, so I'm sure you'll do your best to make it happen.
Yeah. That's something. We see almost every year, but not as strong as this one. And we have developed, some techniques to protect against the frost, like water spraying. We have systems with water spraying in Chablis. We have also very good systems of electrical wire, so electrical cable that's going to heat the canes in very specific places. Mm. But of course, it's quite expensive, so it's only dedicated to your base plots and not for the entire region. So
sure.
it's the impact of this technique is going to be limited to very low volumes.
Wow. Well, may Mother Nature smile on your regions in the coming vintages.
We hope so. Thanks a lot. We hope so.
So I want to get a quick background on you. What type of education did you pursue that led you to the wine industry?
I graduated from Montpellier-Supagro, which is a high school in south of France, where you can learn both viticulture, agronomy, and enology. So that's a very good school because at the end of it you have a global and comprehensive view of what's going on. From the grapes, so all the viticultural aspects of growing the grapes, taking care of the vineyards, and also everything that's linked with enology. So all the skills you need to make good wines, all the things linked with enology. So it's a very good school to go very quickly for a new job.
Yeah, so high school age, huh? Interesting.
Yeah.
So did you go from that to a job right away, or did you do any more post-high school studying?
I mean, for us, high school is 5 years, so it's a 5-year training.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And so then I stopped and went for more some training periods. So in order to gain in terms of experience, so I went to other countries on the viticultural side, for taking care of the vineyards, pruning, etc. That was the case in South Africa, and also some vinification in South Africa, but also in Lebanon and Bordeaux. So the idea was to see a little bit around what's going on in several regions. So it was fantastic experiences in South Africa or Lebanon, but also Bordeaux, of course.
Nice. What an incredible opportunity for a high school grad to travel for a viticulture experience, as have many American winemakers and growers I've spoken to over the years, after their college education more often. Following his experiences in Lebanon, South America, and Bordeaux, Matthieu Mangenot returned to Burgundy, where his first job was in the southern end in the Beaujolais region.
I just took a job in a family company as well, quite similar to Bichot, that used to make a lot of vinification, so purchasing some grapes and musts, but also owner of quite a several bunch of estates in the Beaujolais and Mâconnais area. So I was in charge of selecting and monitoring the grape contractors, but also acting as a winemaker consultant for all our suppliers in bulk wine. So that was quite a clever system. So we were hired by the family and the company to oversee all the suppliers in bulk and to be sure that they would do the best wine they could in order to supply us. So it was a very integrated way of working, and so we could have a look. And I was involved in all the vineyard monitoring, but also all the winemaking aspects for all our suppliers. So very good, also a very good way to learn and see, all the difficult things you may face in winemaking. So I think I've seen them take care of all the different problems you can have in terms of fermentation, in terms of problems of aging, in terms of everything that's linked with the vinification. So it was very, very good things to head to Bichot.
Yeah, it sounds like you got quite a jump on not only your education, but your experience as well at a young age.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's not uncommon in France.
Very nice. Then you started at Albert Bichot in 2007, and
yes.
We touched upon briefly, that was up in Chablis. So you've been up and down the Burgundy region there, from the south of Mâconnais, Beaujolais down there, all the way up to Chablis.
Yeah, exactly. So I left Beaujolais and Mâconnais. I was taking care especially of reds, but also a lot of Pouilly-Fuissé, Saint-Véran, Mâcon village, and started in Chablis, so exclusively, of course, in white wines. And that was in 2007. So, yeah, I wanted to stay in Burgundy. I had a very good touch and very good experience in South Burgundy, and that was a very interesting step. I was only 30 years old to oversee a complete estate, so from the vineyards to the bottling, and have a very comprehensive view on all the different process inside an estate. So it is a quite big estate, but not that big. So you can act on all the different aspects, and it was very interesting to be able to play on all the different levels that you maybe you cannot do when you are acting only as a consultant, or you're going to act only on the winemaking, but not on the vineyard 100%. So in that case, that was very interesting to take the position of manager, and I was really interested in this to work on the different fields.
Yeah, it sure provides you with a comprehensive approach to winemaking, all the experience and skills you have. It's so funny how far away Chablis is from the Côte d'Or. It's like, 90 miles, 148 kilometers or so from Chablis to Beaune?
Yeah, that's it. So you drive 1 hour and 15 minutes. So it's less than 1 hour and a half, and it makes a big difference in terms of climatic conditions. Chardonnay is behaving differently from Côte de Beaune, but technically speaking, it's not that far. For Bichot, it makes a difference as well, as you can't drive every day to go from Beaune to Chablis. So of course the position of régisseur in Chablis, you had to act a bit far away from the mother company. So it gives you also a very interesting position to act and to develop things on your own.
Mm-hmm. And you're based in Beaune now, though, huh?
I moved. So yeah, Albert Bichot asked me to move back from Chablis to Beaune 3 years ago. So I left Chablis, and I'm still overseeing and monitoring from here all the Chablis operation. But of course there is someone over there that takes care of Flon de Paquis all the day. So I'm now based 100% in Beaune. Yes.
He's Matthieu Mangenot of Albert Bichot. Prior to the interview, some of their wines were sent to me to try. The first one I opened was the Chablis from Domaine Long des Paquis. It was fermented and aged for 10 months on fine lees in 100% stainless steel vats. To retain the bright notes and flavors, no oak was used on that Chablis.
So yeah, Chablis. So we are up north. So that's the most northern place for Burgundy. That's where Burgundy starts when you head from Paris to Beaune, for example.
Mm-hmm.
And the soils here are quite specific, with clay and limestone soils, like the rest of Burgundy, if you accept Beaujolais.
Yeah.
But here you're going to find a lot of little oysters in the soils, and especially on the Chablis Premier Cru and Chablis Grand Cru. So here's the combination of the Chardonnay living on limestone soils with the presence of this oyster that we call chimerigen, so the chimerigen stones. We will give to the white wines very specific characteristics. So we say we deal of minerality, of flinty notes, iodine character, gunpowder. So that's really the growth of the Chardonnay is going to be slowed a little bit by the cooler conditions, with usually September, end of August and September a bit cooler, and nights much cooler than, for example, in the Mâconnais area. And that will tend to keep more acidity, more tension to the wine. And all the winemaking is oriented to keep this freshness and not to interfere as much as we can with the oak. So no oak at all on this level. Mm-hmm. Like you said, it's 100% tank fermented, and we're gonna do aging on lees. So during 10 months, approximately, we're gonna keep the wine on its lees, with or without batonnage, depending on the characteristic of the year, in order to keep the tension and develop this very mineral character we are expecting from a Chablis.
Yeah. And on the nose, you also get like a white flower aroma, and I got a little bit of that in the taste as well. But boy, that Chablis was just so vivacious, a burst of flavor mid palate.
Yeah, it's a combination of you've got this mineral character, gunpowder, like I said, but also when they are young, and that's the case here, you've got this white flower, also fresh fruit. Especially vintage 2019, that was quite warm, so it's developing some beautiful fresh fruit aromas and that combine while aging with the minerality. So it's very lively, very zesty, and the freshness is a key aspect in the Chablis wines, and especially this one.
Yeah. I also received the Gevrey Chambertin Les Moreau from Domaine du Clos Printemps. Yeah. Of course, Gevrey Chambertin is well respected. It's a great appellation in the Côte de Nuit, and that Pinot Noir was just fantastic. And I saw that it's 100% French oak, but only 20 to 30% new oak. Is that pretty common there these days? And I know it's Pinot Noir, and you don't typically do that as much with Pinot, but is that fairly common?
Yeah, it is. Yeah. So that the traditional aging on that type of appellation in Burgundy is 100% oak. So we're going to age 100% in oak. And then we can, depending on the place, the climate, depending on the vintage as well, we're going to adapt the level of new oak. So yes, in that case, that's 20-30% new oak. Pinot remains quite sensitive to too much oak.
Yeah.
So globally speaking, on the red wines, we're going to be in between 20 to 50% maximum. But we are in Côte de Nuit, a very delicate Pinot. So we have to be very careful with the aging. So this is a very interesting wine from Domaine du Clos-Frontin. So I didn't say, but Bichot owns 6 estates in Burgundy. The biggest one is in Chablis with Domaine Long de Paquis, we just had before. And then Bichot owns 2 estates in Côte de Nuit. One is Domaine du Château-Gris, a very small estate with terraces, beautiful small estate in the slopes. And the other one is Domaine du Clos-Frontin, that will produce several appellations, including villages, Premier Cru, and also Grand Cru from Côte de Nuit.
Yeah.
Gevrey, you mentioned it, is one of the largest villages from Côte de Nuit, and that's where you find 9 of the biggest Grand Cru from Burgundy, Chambertin, La Trissière, Mazy, so are located in this area. And the wine we are testing is from a village level, from a very single plot called Les Mureaux. So it's just in the middle of the village, and it's located on quite a lot of scree. We have, you remember in Burgundy, you have at the upper section we have all the Haute Côte vineyards, and at the bottom you may find all the village, and in between you find Premier Cru and Grand Cru. And this is a place, Mureaux, is located at the bottom of a combe. We call it a combe. You know, a kind of valley where you may find an alluvial fan and so a lot of scree. So it's a lot of limestone, quite white, and that will tend to warm quite quicker than other places. So this Mureaux is more on a rye style, and develops beautiful black currant nose. Also, I've got some violet character, spices. I had quite a lot of pepper character, and tannins are very, very silky. So it's not a massive wine, but it's a lot of delicacy with some velvet tannins that are really, really beautiful.
You certainly feel the tannins, though. They're definitely present. But yes, they are lovely, and it adds a nice backbone to the wine, and it is a full-flavored and velvety wine. It was beautiful.
Yeah, that's you're correct. That's really nice. So that's the combination of the soils, of course. Again, it's limestone with quite a lot of scree, so white little stones, and also the influence of this combe lavaux that will bring some fresh air from the top section. So that's really the combination of this at night, fresh air going down, that will cool down the grapes, and during the day more sunshine. And what's interesting there is that we can manage to keep something very, very elegant. So despite warmer vintages like 2018 or 2019, even 2020, it's never a massive wine, and the delicacies of Pinot is expressing itself. So really nice. But
it's full-flavored enough when you suggest that the Les Mureaux goes well with red meat dishes, in addition to small game and cheeses.
Yeah.
And the other bottle I received and enjoyed was the Albert Bichot Crémant des Bourguignons Brut Rosé. My wife loves sparkling, and yours featured fine bubbles, a beautiful pink color with salmon highlights.
Yes. So you can do Crémant almost everywhere in Burgundy, but the big places where you can source this will be Côte de Beaune, but also the Mâconnais area. And in that case, we wanted to create a Crémant de Bourgogne Rosé, so very, very aromatic, also very easy to drink, and with beautiful aspects of fruit. So that's a combination of Pinot Noir. So in that case, we've sourced some Pinot Noir in the Côte Chalonnaise, so really at the far south of Côte d'Or, just before entering the Saône-et-Loire, or just in between. That's going to bring the fruit and quite a nice level of elegance. And then we add 10% of Chardonnay. That will bring a touch of flowers, white flowers, and also some roundness. And then we're going to add 10% of Gamay. So you know Gamay, that's coming exclusively from the Beaujolais area.
Sure.
And Gamay produce beautiful wine with a lot of red fruits. So that was a way to bring something with fruitiness, also some red fruitiness, and also something very lively with a nice level of freshness, because Gamay usually appear a bit more acidic than Pinot Noir and Chardonnay. So it's really interesting to know that we can in Burgundy produce some beautiful crémants that have usually a very good price-quality ratio and gives you a lot of pleasure.
And that's what we all seek from wine: pleasure. In case you're not familiar with the term, crémant, which has a T at the end, crémant, is what the French call sparkling wine, made in the same method as champagne, but outside of the Champagne region. Speaking of pleasure, their Crémant Bourguignon Brut Rosé is priced at just $18.99 here in the States. The Chablis I enjoyed was about $26, and the Gevrey Chambertin Les Moreau is anywhere from $60 to $90. Granted, these are village-level wines, not Premier nor Grand Cru levels, but the vineyards they own and source from offer excellent quality. And to get a Pinot Noir from Gevrey Chambertin, one of the highly respected Burgundy regions, for less than $100 is a pretty good deal. I'll continue my conversation with Matthieu Mangenot of Albert Bichot next on The Wine Road.
The historic Mount View Hotel and Spa is a 33-room, family-owned boutique hotel located in the heart of downtown Calistoga, California. This distinctive hotel features original architectural elements complemented by Art Deco interiors. Welcoming amenities include 2 restaurants, Amaro Italian Kitchen and Johnny's, a full-service luxury spa, the Indie Blue Salon, a beautiful pool, Mineral Springs Jet Spa, lounge areas, and this summer, a safe, enjoyable outdoor movie venue, the Moonshine Theater. A stay at the Mount View Hotel and Spa is not only enriching for the soul, you can change the world while you sleep. Their Change the World While You Sleep program contributed 50% of their profits to children, health, women's, and environmental causes. Currently, the Mount View is hosting dinner and a movie fundraising events to support local nonprofits. For the schedule of movies and more information on Wine Country's most unique hotel and spa, visit mountviewhotel.com.
We're back on The Wine Road. I'm Jeff Davis, having an interesting conversation with Matthieu Mangenot of Albert Bichot in Burgundy. When I went to their website, I saw a staggering amount of bottle options on their wines page. So I had to ask Matthieu, how many cases does Albert Bichot produce each year?
Yeah, we farm in total 100 hectares. And we buy and purchase grapes beside that around 350 hectares. So it's a total of roughly 2 million bottles in total.
Okay, yeah, good size. When I went to your website and clicked on the wines page, I was amazed at the amount of different bottlings and varieties you show. It totals about 150 different labels.
Yeah. You know, in Burgundy, and that's what is difficult here, is all the different sections. We have the regional appellation, we have then the village level, then the Premier Cru level, and then the Grand Cru level. And then you combine with, of course, the different sub-regions: Chablis, Côte de Nuit, Côte de Beaune, Côte Chalonnaise, Mâconnais. And everything here is based on what we call climat. Climat is a very small piece of land that has some very specific characteristic. So because of sun exposure, because of soil, because of water drainage. The grapes, it could be Chardonnay or Pinot Noir, will take very specific characteristics. And what we promote in Burgundy is really to show the differences between all the different clima, all the different plots, and that gives this huge number of wines. And I think if you combine all the different clima, it's more than 1,200 clima all over Burgundy. So that's why you see a very wide variety of different places, and that gives a very complex wine list. But that's really the essence of our work, and we are really dedicated to show how Chambertin is different from a Latricière, and why a Pommard village is different from a Pommard Rougien, even if they are very close. So that all the work from the people of the winery and from us to show the very tiny differences of the different terroirs.
That's what makes that area so special.
It's impressive. If you look at the website, it's quite impressive. Yes,
it is. But that helps also with all that production, and it certainly gives the consumer a lot of choices and price ranges. So there's something for everybody out there in price point from Albert Bichot.
Yes, you're right, and it's something we have to be very careful, and sometimes we or generally speaking, people can forget that there is not only Premier Cru and Grand Cru in Burgundy. It's a very limited part of the production. It's less than 15%, and the rest are regional appellation, are villages, and also Premier Cru. So we have to be very aware of this, and also focus on what gives you also some volumes, but a very good ratio price pleasure, and that's the case with, for example, Aligoté, with Bourgogne Blanc, with entry level Petit Chablis, for example, and we are very careful on our range to have both extremes, so the entry level wines, but also the top one. So very important, yes.
And even the village level can offer wines that are truly enjoyable.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, from villages from Côte de Nuit, for example, a beautiful Fissin, or I don't know, Beaune Romanée, you have very nice wines that are showing their terroir. Fissin a bit higher in altitude with a bit more freshness. Beaune Romanée very on the delicacy. So those are examples. And if you head to, I don't know, Pommard, for example, you'll have another beautiful village with its own characteristic, a bit more structure, a bit more body. So even the villages in that level of appellation will show all the different aspects of Burgundy, and on itself, it's a fantastic journey to make through the villages in Burgundy.
Speaking of the villages and terroir, it surely must come as no surprise that in such a renowned wine region, Albert Bichot incorporates thoughtful, sustainable vineyard and winemaking practices.
Yes, we are producers in over a bit more than 100 hectares, so 6 estates from Chablis to Beaujolais. And we are running all those estates organic. So it's been a quite long involvement for Bichot, more than 15 years. So all the vineyards of Côte de Nuit and Côte de Beaune have been farm organics since more than 10 years. So Chablis itself is switching to organic, and we try to really pay attention to our environmental issues, also take care of our workers through this way of producing. So it's a bit more difficult, needs a bit more time, a bit more materials, a bit more people, but we are very very proud to even in difficult vintages like for example 2016, where you've got some pressure with powdery mildew to still go on and keep our way of doing things, and we think it's much better for environment in general. And besides that, we buy, and I said we purchase some grapes from outside, and we try to, and we work with our suppliers to help them turning to organic, and most of them are on their way to. And if not, they are involved in lutte raisonnée at different levels, and we ask them to be moving. So this means that every year to try to improve the way they do the things, to reduce their impact on water, on use of pesticides and everything. So that's a long way, but we are one of the biggest operator in Burgundy with such level of involvement in organic, and our wine list has more than 50 different wines that are certified organic. So it's quite a long involvement.
Yeah, and the payoff is fantastic, though. And it's good to see that happening across the globe, and we're certainly following in those footsteps as well here in Northern California with sustainability.
Yeah.
And way to go.
Still a lot of things to do, but step by step, and we have to convince people. We have to work all together and not alone. So it's something that's developing more and more, and I think it's really interesting for Burgundy, especially in a place. But you do the same where you promote all the different terroirs, and that's a good way to really show more and more the differences between the terroir. We see the vineyard and the vines develop a bit differently. We plow the soil, so the roots have to go more deeper, and so it's the link with the terroir is much higher than with a traditional or common way of taking care of the vineyard.
Yeah.
So we think it's really the good direction.
Absolutely. And you feel good about the wine you're drinking that are farmed that way.
Yes, it makes a difference at the end. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, we have oftenly told that's correct. Yeah.
The French do whatever they can to keep their vineyards and soil healthy for generations, even centuries. The Cistercian monks made wine in the Burgundy region in and around the Clos du Vougeot in the 13th century, and the Romans preceded them. The Albert Bichot family goes back nearly as far. The family settled in Burgundy in 1350. The family crest of a doe head within a ring of antlers has not changed since that time. It was in 1831 when the family entered the wine business under Bernard Bichot. He was the grandfather of Albert Bichot, but they consider their wine legacy beginning in 1831, which you'll see on the bottles, their logo, and website. What a history! How'd you like to ride a bike through those historic vineyards along low stone walls that have stood since the Middle Ages? You can. Back in 2013, my wife and I spent a few days in Beaune and Nuits-Saint-Georges, and biking the Vélo route came to mind when Matthieu was mentioning the villages like Pommard and traveling through various terroirs, so I asked if he had biked on the Vélo route. When we took a fairly short ride, it was awesome. So we biked around Beaune and traveled through Pommard, actually stopped there and did a tasting at a kind of a community cave that had a variety of wines from the area. Then rode through Volnay and stopped in Meursault for lunch, and boy, that was such a wonderful trip. Through the old paths of the farming machinery they used to take for, I guess, centuries, which is now paved easy to bike through. Really enjoyed riding through the vineyards.
Yeah. But it's to me that's one of the best way to see, and if you got a bit of time, I know the Vélo routes goes from nearly just south of Dijon, so you can start in Brochon or even Fissin or Marsanais, and head south even up to Centenay and even south of this. So you can even link with the Mâconnais area if you've got time. So it's really nice, and especially spending time in the Grand Cru, Gevrey or Moret-Saint-Denis, Chambolle, Vougeot. I think you've got a really direct link with the terroir. You can stop, you can smell, you can touch. And to me, that's one of the best way to discover Burgundy.
Oh, yeah, it's fantastic. Now that people are beginning to travel more, is there anything else you would suggest for my listeners to pursue that they could do there in the Burgundy region?
Well, Beaune on itself is it's really a very good place to stay, of course, for all the cultural aspects. You've got hospice to visit and many places just next to. that are linked with the wine history. I'm thinking of Clos Vougeot, for example.
Oh yeah.
And a lot of things that are fantastic to visit. Taking a bit of time also to go in South Côte de Beaune and visit Meursault, Puligny, Chassagne. You really feel something in your body. You know, the link with the terroir, with the soils. When you look at the vineyard there, it's absolutely fantastic. And it's also a great opportunity to take time for yourself in Beaune, enjoy very good food. There is really a wide variety of restaurants.
Mm-hmm.
You can eat outside, inside. You can see places where you can have some food in cellars or very nice places, and also enjoy tasting in different places. So it's really something that I recommend. Also, on a Saturday morning, have a quick walk in the market. There is a street market in the center of Beaune where you can buy fresh food and very quality food from the area.
Nice.
So that's a little piece of France that smells good food, very good wine, and really a sense of good life and good living. So I really recommend you to come and see what's going on here. It could be during summer, but also September. When harvest takes place, it's also very nice to see all the activity in the vineyard and all the people working here.
Yeah.
So it's also a nice time to come.
Excellent. I hope to get back, and now that I have your cell number, don't be surprised if you hear from me again.
Let me know when you're around, and we can organize a bike ride. It's so fantastic. Yeah.
No, excellent. Well, Matthieu, thank you so much for your time and opening our eyes to the Burgundy region, and hopefully we've inspired some people not only to go out and pick up some of the fantastic Albert Bichot wines and maybe go over and visit and spend some time there and enjoy an incredible experience.
And we hope so, and we are welcoming you with very big pleasure. Again, I hope to see you very quickly in Burgundy.
I hope so. Look for Albert Bichot at Bevmo or local, larger wine and liquor stores, but the easiest place to find and purchase the wines is probably wine.com. The Maison's website is albert-bichot.com, spelled like Albert-Bichot.com. I hope you enjoyed this discussion with Matthieu about their Burgundian wines. The road has come to an end. Find more interviews at onthewineroad.us or .com and Instagram as JD Wine Road. Thanks for joining me once again on The Wine Road. I'm Jeff Davis.